Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is with you. Welcome to our Verbling class. I want to say, well, yes, welcome to an IELTS speaking preparation class. My name is Hamish, and today we're going to be taking a good hard look at part 2 of the speaking section of the IELTS exam. These first 2 minutes are for Verbling Premium users. If you have a premium membership, you can reserve a space in the classes that you particularly want to take, and that means you're not going to miss out on those classes that are most important for you. So if you're finding it difficult to get a space at the classes you want, please upgrade that membership. Think about upgrading that membership to premium, and then you can join me in these first 2 minutes and make sure that you're able to get a spot. Let me say hello to is it Leo? Hello, Leo.
Yes, this is Leo. Hello.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Are you planning on taking the IELTS exam, or do you just want to improve your English with me today?
Well, I want to practice the IELTS examination too. Yes, because I'm preparing for IELTS now.
Okay, and when do you plan to take the exam?
My test data is next month.
Okay, right.
I still have about 1 month.
Okay, very good. And why are you taking the exam? What do you need your IELTS score for?
I'm trying to apply some programs, so that program requires me to provide my IELTS score. So I need to so I book the test data and try to see if I can make it or not.
Okay, sure. And so where do you want to study?
Not study.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Are you going to work abroad?
Yes, working
Work
abroad.
in another country? Oh, I see. I'm sorry, my mistake. And so.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go abroad and see if there any chance, any opportunities there, and also.
Okay, excellent, Leo. Thank you. It's great to have students who are going to take the exam, the IELTS exam, in the near future, and I'm going to give you some realistic practice for the part 2 of the speaking section today. Thanks for joining us today, Leo. Let me say hello to everyone in class. I think the chat is not working for me today, so I can't. I'm not going to use it in class today. I wanted to share one web link before we get started. Let me see if I can do that. Not yet. 1 second. Let me see if I can just open that up, because I wanted to show you one web link, but won't happen if I can't. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Screen share. No. Okay. It's not a disaster. I'm going to say hello to everyone, and then we're going to begin. Let me say hello first to is it Agatha? Hello, Agatha. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. You're a little bit quiet. Can is your microphone? Are the settings okay?
Like this is better.
Okay, I'll try my best to hear you. Agatha, tell me, where are you from?
I'm from France.
France? Oh, very nice. Okay, well, welcome to Verbling. Welcome to this class. I look forward to practicing with you in the next hour. Good to see you. Let me say hello. Hello to Alessandro. How are you today?
I'm fine, doing great. Hello, Mr. Hamish.
Hello, indeed. I have to say, it is a beautiful blue sky here in Tennessee. How's the weather for you, Alessandro? It's Italy, right?
Yeah, Italy. Exactly from Rome. and we have today not a rainy weather. We can barely see the sun.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. If I could give you some of this Tennessee blue sky,
I wish I
would do
could
that.
take some.
You're gonna have some good weather in Italy. I know it is. I'm sure it's just around the corner. Alessandro, so good to hear you today. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. Glad to see you.
I'm glad to say. Okay, and hello to Anastasia. Hello, Anastasia.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Excellent.
I'm from Kazakhstan. Before maybe like 1 month ago, I was in your class. Preparation for TOEFL test. Also speaking class was.
Okay, very good. No, and I remember your name, and I remember you coming to that class, and there are some similarities. Both exams, they're close in the skills that we need to get a good score.
Exactly.
The structure of the exam, the structure of the speaking section, very different for IELTS, but the level of English and some of the preparation we can do, a lot of that is the same for both exams. So you can still get some good practice in the IELTS classes. Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back, and welcome to this IELTS class. I look forward to hearing your answers today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, all right. Let me say hello to. Oh, there we go. Is it Anne? Anne Doan? Hello. How are you? I can't hear you. There we go. I put you on the screen there. Is it Anna or Doan? Okay, I'm going to move on. Maybe I'll get to speak to you later on. Asako. Hello, Asako.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. Asako, where are you from?
I'm from Japan.
Japan, excellent. And do you want to take the IELTS exam, or are you here just to practice your English with us?
I think I'm here to practice English here.
Okay, very good. I have to ask, how's the weather in Japan today? How's the weather?
Oh, I think that it's warm up, so it's pretty good.
Really good. Is do you have a hard winter in Japan?
It was really hard. I think it was kind of rare, at least where I live. So we have some snow for like twice.
Oh, really? Okay. Is that unusual where you are?
Yeah, it is unusual for where I am, but and the temperature actually dramatically changed. Now it's warm, so it's quite different from the week before.
Oh, right. Well, I'm glad you're getting some warm weather. In Tennessee, when that happens, we end up with tornadoes and thunderstorms when the temperature changes very quickly.
Oh, okay.
So I hope you don't get any tornadoes. That's no fun at all. Enjoy the warm weather. And Asako, welcome to class. I look forward to hearing your answers today. Very good to see you.
Thank you.
Let me see. I'm just make sure I say hello to everyone that I can. Hamid, hello, Hamid.
Hi,
Hamid.
I'm here.
Hello. How are you today?
Hello. Thank you. I'm good. And you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. Are you interested in taking the IELTS exam? Is that something that you?
No. It's just training. It's just a test for my speaking skills.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely test your skills today. We'll definitely have some realistic practice, and that can be good if you want to take the IELTS exam, or if you just want to see, your ability to prepare an answer and to give an answer in English as well. So, welcome, Hamid. Welcome to class.
Thank
Salha. Salha. Hello, Salha.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm very good. Salha, tell me, where are you from?
I'm from Morocco.
Morocco. Very nice to have you here in class. I look forward to practicing with you today. I want to say hello to one more. Here is Yasin. Hello, Yasin.
Hello, Teacher Hamish.
Hello, how are you today?
Thanks, I'm fine. And you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Are you here to just to practice your English, or do you want to prepare for the IELTS exam?
I'm going to the join IELTS exam in June.
In June, excellent. Okay, very good. Well, I'll make sure I have some realistic practice for you today, yes, and thank you for joining us in class. Let's get started. Again, if I could, I would put a link on the chat box with some guidance for this exam, but I can't use the chat box today, so very sad. Let me try again to share my screen so we can get started, because I really need a way to share these questions with you. Otherwise, we might.
Can you use the chat box here? Why?
Let me try outside in the room. Let me try this. Yeah, no, I'm using the Verbling chat, and I'm not able to. That's not working. Okay, so maybe the Google chat. That might be. I might have to use that one. Let's see. Okay, I think we need to use the Google chat, because the Verbling one. Anastasia, thank you. Okay, it's not working for you either. Okay, so on your screen there should be a blue button on the left, and if you click on that, it brings up the chat facilities. So if I put in my link, for example, I wanted to show you. Let me find it. There we go. 1 second. Thank you. Welcome to chat as well. So that link is for the official British Council's IELTS website, and if you're interested or thinking about whether you need to take or want to take the IELTS exam, that website has all the information you need about why and where and how much, and about how to apply, and also really good advice about how to prepare for the exam. So any questions that I don't know the answer to, I'll suggest you go to the IELTS, the official IELTS website, and they'll know. They'll know. They've answered these questions many times before. So all right. Well, what I would like to do then, I think I'll have to put my part 2 questions in the chat box. Now I'm going to try and do this just as an experiment. See if it works, okay? Because I want to make sure that you can read these things, okay? They're quite big questions, you see, so let me try this first of all. Let's see if we can read this. Oof. What do you think? Can you read that question okay? Anastasia, first of all, can you see the question in chat there?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. And
I'm just reading this one.
Oh, I know, of course. Alessandro, can you see the chat okay?
Yes, it's very clear. It's on the Google chat, not on the Verbling chat, right?
Okay, it is, because the Verbling chat isn't working for me today. And these questions are so big, we really have to read them. The examiner in the IELTS exam, they'll read out that first part, describe a time in your life when you helped someone else with a problem, but those 4 points underneath, they'll give you a card with those points written down, and you will have 1 minute to read those points and to plan out your answer. This is part 2 of the IELTS speaking section. So they read the question out to you. They give you 1 minute to prepare, and you will have a pencil with a paper to write any notes. Any notes you want to write, you're free to do that. And then after that 1 minute, they'll give you 1 to 2 minutes to give your answer. And maybe a full answer would be 1 minute, probably 1.5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. If you speak, and it's, sorry, Leah, I'm just going to mute you for a second there. If it's less than 1 minute, you've probably not told them enough. We probably need some more information. If it's longer than 2 minutes, well, they're just going to say, oh, thank you, and stop you, and then move on to part 2, and they're going to be very strict with that time. They won't let you talk for longer than 2 minutes, and neither will I today, just to make it as realistic as possible. Okay, so Well, there's our first one. I'm not going to use that question today because we've all had more than 2 minutes to look at it. Let me put up a real question, and I'll tell you what. Let me see. Anastasia, are you happy to be our first practice today?
Okay, I can try.
All right, I'm going to give you a different question, okay? Because
okay.
That one's just been sitting there getting old, I think. So let me put question 2 in the chat box, and I'm going to.
Will I have a time to?
Absolutely. Oh, I'll give you a 1 minute to prepare, and then 1 to 2 minutes to give me your answer. Yes, it's just that other one was looking a little old there, and I want to make it as realistic as possible. So, and everybody, please, I mean, this one is for Anastasia, but please take the time, use that 1 minute, because the more practice you have planning your answer, preparing and thinking within that 1 minute, the better your answers are going to be when we practice like this, when you do it in the exam, and when you answer questions in academic or work or social situations in English. So it's good practice, even if you're not going to give me your answer for this one. Please practice as well. So let me paste that one in there. All right. Anastasia, I would like for you to talk for 1 to 2 minutes and describe a time in your life that was difficult. There are some points underneath that question. Please take a look at those and include those in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, Anastasia, please give me your answer now.
Okay, the problem was when I was a teenager and my mom had to go to work abroad. So I stay alone. Well, I not stay alone. I stay with my grandmother. But it was a really hard time for me without a close person like mom, because because at that time we were really close, and now at this time we're also very close. But my grandmother is also close to me, and she helps me to overcome this problem. So we do different stuff with each other, just go walking, just cooking. And so some part of me, I having fun with my grandmother, sorry. Well, what I learned from this experience, that I'm really strong. I become more stronger emotionally and physically. And I think what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So this is my new experience, helped me to be more independent, to do my choices, and do not depend on my mom. And I think that that's a difficult time, which was in my life, makes me become better and to know myself better and what I can achieve.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that
thanks.
okay?
Thanks, Anastasia. If you had to give some advice to other people going through a difficult time, what advice would you give them?
Well, you just need to be flexible, open-minded about new opportunities. So, well, I've learned that new experience is also great chance to know yourself better, and become more stronger.
Okay, thank you for that answer. That was very interesting. Lots of good details in there, and I understood a lot of what you were saying. I thought it was clear. What do you think, first of all, of the question? Is that an easy question for you to answer?
Well, it was easy. This one is a question. Well, because just I speak from my experience. But previous question with like, you know, when you ask about help someone, and you have, that's a question make me think a lot. So I cannot remember like a good example for this one. But,
right.
But then when you just ask me this question, I just quickly has sort of this in my mind what to say.
No, yeah, I think absolutely, and the fact, if you can, this is not an easy thing to do sometimes, but if you can choose quickly what you're going to talk about, then you have so much more time to plan out and prepare your answer.
And actually, I follow your question, and I just made a plan in my mind what I'm going to say and which part, for example, like what is the problem, what may help me to overcome this problem, what I learned from this experience, and even I write down one phrase: "What doesn't kill you make you stronger." So kind of like this there.
Absolutely, and I think what you did is a very good choice, because I think I would suggest to all students that you use that question as the structure to your answer. You don't have to do them in the order they give you, but why not? Why not use that order to give your answer? I think it makes it a lot easier. I mean, we can look at that and think, oh, that's more than one question. It's like 5 questions, but really they're giving you 4 ideas to talk about in your answer, and I think that's really helpful.
Well, it's really those questions really helps me to make my answer.
Absolutely. I thought your answer was very interesting, realistic, and I could believe it, and I could have sympathy with it, and that's always good. I think a question like this, it should be something, you know, people can understand, and I think we can all understand when someone is younger and going through something like that.
Okay.
So that was really solid. You mentioned I was concerned at one point. You were talking about, okay, well, I'm doing different stuff with my grandmother, and when we use the word stuff, it's a little dangerous, because of course in English we use stuff when we can't think of an example. It's like I did some stuff, and it's a formal, you know, stuff. English speakers, we use that word all the time, but it's like nice. It means nothing. So, however, you went on then to say, you know, stuff like going for walks and cooking, and that's what we need. So you gave the examples. So that was definitely a good thing to go on and do. In an exam like this, we can pretend it's a conversation, but it's an exam. It's a formal exam. So we'll keep that language as formal as possible. English, they use that word all the time, but we're not going to use it in the exam. But you went on to give examples, and that was essential. That was a really good thing that you did. Some little grammatical things. Let me put them in here. You stayed in the past tense, and that was very important. But it wasn't 100%. It wasn't 100%. Stayed. Yeah, little things like that. Which takes some practice. And you mentioned a classic grammatical one was you talked about I think doing choices, and when we make choices, and the difference between the do's and the makes, that can be very difficult to remember. But I really like that, when you use that expression, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. That's a really nice thing to do, because it's instantly understood by someone, you know, an English listener, because we know it so well, and the meaning of that is so easy. It's like, you know, if you drew a picture and said, look, here's my experience right here. You know, we can understand it much more quickly. So I mentioned those little grammar things just because I want your answer to be even better.
Yeah.
But lots of good details, and you kept to the structure.
Because I also noticed I just was really nervous as like I was in real exam.
Sure.
I don't know, and I just have some mistakes about the past. So I should continue retelling a story in the past tense. So I also just understand that I make those mistakes.
Oh, sure, and I know, if you decide to practice this kind of question a second time, a lot of those mistakes won't appear, because, as you say, that the more you practice correctly with the timing, the more you think about your use of tenses, the better you'll be. And I mean that for everybody. It's easy to make some mistakes when we do this the first time. We just have to, as long as we recognize them and get better, well, that's what practice is for, right? So so very nice, Anastasia, thank you so much for being our first practice today. That's I think sometimes the hardest one to go first. So well done with that. Thank you again.
My pleasure.
You're very welcome.
Go to the next person. These 5 questions are to guide us, or do they want to hear these answers? Really?
It's both. It's both. They want to give you some ideas, but they are listening. They are listening for those points. If we have a thing that says, what did you learn from this experience? Yeah, you have to tell them, what did you learn from that experience? I think it makes the answer easier.
Yes.
Because they're giving us a structure, but at the same time, absolutely. If it's written on the card, if you see it on the card, make sure you answer it. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter which order you give it in.
Yeah.
But yes, when you're getting to the end of your 2 minutes, be careful with that card. Think to yourself, okay, if I answered all of these points, because that will be very important. A great question, Servet. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah. All right. Let me see where we are. All right. Agatha. Hello, Agatha again.
Yes.
Are you happy to be number 2 with us today?
Yes,
Very good, very good. Okay, and I can hear you a little more loudly, and that's really good.
Yes, I changed something. I think it's better now.
You are loud and clear. Thank you so much. Okay, so this one is for you, Agatha.
Okay.
I'm going to ask everyone to practice along with you, but I'll ask you, Agatha, for your answer. Let me find the question first of all. That would be helpful. Here we go. Okay, I'm going to put this again in the Hangout chat. I can't use the verbally chat, so it's going to have to be the Hangout one. Here we go. First of all, Agatha, can you see?
Yes, I
that
can
question?
see the
It's question number 3.
Yes, I see.
Excellent. Well, I will start your practice right now. Agatha, I would like for you to describe a person you would like to meet. I would like for you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Take a look at those points underneath the question, and please include those in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, Agatha, please begin your answer now.
Well, in fact, I would like to meet someone that I have already met, but it was during a very short time, and I couldn't speak to this person. It was reporter, a journalist, an American journalist that I met during a lecture in my town, and it was a lecture about one of her trips in Bangladesh, and she was speaking about its trip and its adventure, and I would like to meet her again because she is doing a job that I would love to do, and I think if I meet her again, I would like to ask her some questions about the job, and I would ask her some advices that she could give me to do the same job and to succeed in this job. And I would like her to tell me again one of her adventures abroad.
Okay, very good. What effect would the meeting have on you? What change would happen for you with this meeting?
I found this meeting very exciting because she was telling stories that I was not used to listen, and it makes me dream.
I see. Thank you. A very interesting answer. Thank you. Tell me, when you saw the question and you had 1 minute to prepare your answer, how much time did you spend deciding that this is your answer?
Maybe 10 seconds.
Okay, not bad, not bad. Okay, so you still had most of that 1 minute to plan out your answer. When I look at okay, we've got describe, state why, what effect would the meeting have, what would you say? Did you answer all of those points?
I think I didn't answer the question, what effect would the meeting have on you?
I think, yeah, that one was missing, I must say, but the rest was pretty good. And when we say, describe this person, that could be a physical description, but of course it could also be, what they do. And I think, well, I know because I was listening, you were very clear about what this person did for a living. You were also very clear on the reason why you would want to meet her. I liked that at the start you gave some background or some circumstances around, oh, well, I've actually, I heard her speak before in my town. She gave a lecture, and this is why I would like to listen. I would like to meet her again. And you talked about the questions you would ask, and you described her work and that you would like to do that kind of work as well, and that you hadn't heard someone tell this kind of story before. So I thought your story, the story you told, was very, very easy to understand, and very clear. I think you had some time at the end, so if you have some time and you've answered the main questions, there's always room for more details or more information about what you can give there. The grammar was pretty good. The grammar, actually. When we talk about advice, let's see. I would, try to put this in. I would ask her for. It would be just advice, because advice is a non-count noun. If we were asking you for a suggestion, it would be suggestions. But advice, yeah, like that, or her opinions. So just a singular like that. But that's indeed a piece of advice. There you go. Very nice. Absolutely. But yes, just some more details. I think some more details about that. But I liked, I liked a lot of your points, and an interesting story. And an interesting story is always good. It's always better for the examiner to listen to, because they listen to a lot of these questions. And if you have something real and interesting for them to listen to, that will help you. That will help
Okay,
you.
but I have a question. If we have no idea, can we invent something?
I think you have to, don't you? Yeah, because we have to answer the question. You know, the most important thing is answer the question. If we tell them something very interesting that isn't an answer to this question, we're going to score very lowly. It does. You could give a beautiful answer about something else, and it's not going to give you a good score. So yes, if we don't have it, if we just can't think of something that really happened, we're going to have to make something up, and that's okay. That's okay. And in fact, the more questions we practice like this, and the more practice we have creating an answer, the more comfortable we're going to be doing that in the exam. I think for most people in the actual exam, they'll think of something. They'll think of something that happened, okay, because they practice. But if you can, it's very good to practice. Yes, making something up, and maybe in the rest of our class we'll get an example of someone making something up as well. There's nothing wrong with that, not at all. But it's good to practice it, because of course it can be hard to do when we're nervous, and in an exam as well. So, but yes, we have to give them something. I mean, describe a person. It's not, is there someone? Is there a person you would like to meet? This is not a yes or no. There is a task. Describe a person you would most like to meet. So we have to give them something. Absolutely. Yeah, good question, Pat. Thank you for that. And thank you. Yeah.
I have a similar question.
Okay.
I noticed most of the questions are things that I never thought about, and or maybe like something is difficult to talk about. It's not easy. For example, a moment that's embarrassing for you. So these topics are more about. So it takes too much time to decide what I will talk about.
Right.
Which one is this? If you hear, maybe in real life, if you hear something, somebody asks you about a topic, it's difficult to talk. Or in this situation, how would you answer this question? Because it's difficult to, because it also has to be detailed, this moment. It has to be persuasive. So if I can't find a real good answer, if I really don't believe my answer, how it could be so detailed and so persuasive, it's tough for me.
I understand. I understand the point. The only solution is to practice and prepare with as many questions as possible, because you're right that there are a lot of questions they could ask you, and the only thing we can do is to practice. And sometimes we're practicing with a real example. Sometimes we're practicing with something. It could be a friend. It could be something a friend told us. It could be something, a story we read. We could turn it into something. Because we're describing a personal experience, but it's not. This is not a test of your honesty, not at all. And they really don't care if it's true or not. It has to be believable. And you're right. That's where it gets a little more challenging. Servet, you're absolutely right, because we need to give those details, and that can be difficult. But I absolutely believe the more you practice this.
Yes.
With a variety of questions, the easier you're going to find it. Servet, you mentioned a lot of these questions. We don't normally think about these things, or we don't normally ask them. It's true. It's true. Absolutely. That question I would,
And so sometimes these questions are something that we are away from thinking or answering in real life, especially, for example, in Turkey. I personally am a bit shy. For example, in real life, I would avoid answering these questions. So in this case, I have to answer, and I have to give my feelings very detailed. I have to convey them.
Yeah.
And also, there's a cultural problems. For example, in Turkey, there are not so much speech freedom of speech. So it makes it a lot tougher, harder.
So I agree. And if you're from a particular culture or a country, there are cultures, there are people, in the world who will find this exam more difficult because of they don't want to talk, they're uncomfortable, or they're not used to talking about their feelings. They're not used to expressing it. Oh, and it's in English as well to make it even more difficult. You're right. If you're in that situation, it's more difficult for you. And there's no magic trick for that. It just means you'll have to work harder. You can be successful with this, but yes, you have to work harder than someone who is used to being very free with stories like this. Yes, it's easier for them, but maybe part 3, where we have to talk about more general or more academic topics, maybe that's easier for you. So we'll see. But I'm sympathetic. I understand. I don't like talking about these things with complete strangers either, because I mean the examiner will be a complete stranger. So that makes it difficult. But yes, we have to answer that question. We have to talk. A lot of the time we have to describe feelings, and so we need to practice doing that so we're as comfortable as possible, because the more comfortable we are, the better our sound, the more easily they'll be able to hear and understand us, and the higher our score is going to be. If we're upset or nervous, they'll hear that, and it doesn't help.
I have a question.
Oh, sure, Anastasia, please.
Yeah, for example, if you do not know what to say, can you just make up your story, like create new one, just not tell the truth, so it's fine with that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because they're not going to know, and they don't care. They don't mind at all.
They just check how I speak English, right?
Exactly. This is a test of how well you can tell a story, how well you can express yourself or explain something in English.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
Okay. Absolutely. And of course, some people find it easier to make something up. Other people would find it much easier to tell that real story. But if you have to make something up, it's good to practice that. Really important to practice. Yeah.
For me, what's like a new thing to know that we can create a new topic or like this one stuff?
Well, of course it has to be believable or realistic.
Yeah, of course.
But not the absolute truth. No, not at all. Because they're not going to know anyway. So it doesn't really. It doesn't matter. But they're not. There's nothing in the IELTS guidelines which says you must tell the truth. No, not at all. Because I mean, there are questions here. For example, describe a favorite piece of music or song from your childhood. For a lot of people, they love that question because there was a lot of music in their family or in their school, in their experience. But for other people, maybe they just didn't listen to music. Maybe they don't, they're not interested in music. They still have to answer that question. But I do believe everybody taking that exam can think of a song, and they can describe that song. It doesn't have to be their true favorite, but as long as they can describe it, then they're okay. But some of this is difficult, and that's why we practice it. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right. I would like to. There we go. Michaela, hello. Are you there, Michaela?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Are you happy to practice with us today?
Yes, I hope so.
I am so too. All right. Let me. Have you got your chat open? Can you see the chat that we're using, Michaela?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. You're much better. You're all much better than I am at the technology. I tell you what, I'm still very confused by these things. And interesting. This is a big question. Let me put it in the box. And so everybody, please practice along with Michaela. But I'll ask Michaela to give me his answer. So I'll put that in the box, and I'm going to start this practice now. Michaela, I would like for you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes and describe an event in your life that had a big impact on you. Please take a look at those points underneath the task. Include those points in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, Michaela, please begin your answer now.
That's okay. So, a moment that changed my life and that had a big impact on me is when I graduated. When I graduated, it was in 2008, yes, and there were all my parents, and there were all my relatives, there were my girlfriend, and it was in a very big room in the University of Rome, and it was a very important in my life because it gave me strength and gave me it makes me very confident on the future. And it was very important because it was the first goal, the first great goal in my life. And I realized that I will be able to change my life in that moment. So,
okay, thanks, Michaela. Okay, and that's, just for your information, that was about a minute 15, and some answers you could finish in a minute 15, but we always let's check those points at the end, make sure we've given each one, we've answered each point, we've given a description, examples, things like that. First of all, Michaela, I have to ask you, what do you think of the question? Is that an easy one or a difficult one for you?
No, it was not very difficult, but there were too much time that I didn't practice English.
And what about the points? I mean, when it happened, what circumstances, how it affected you? Did you answer all those points?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think you gave an answer. I think, again, the examiner is probably going to be looking for some more details, maybe some more examples. I like to think when we're answering a question like this, we can pretend that the examiner has never been to a graduation.
Yes.
The examiner, we can pretend the examiner is 5 years old if we like, and really give them those kind of details. If you had to explain what happened to someone who had no idea what this looked like, then that frees you up to talk about, were people wearing gowns, were they wearing special clothes, how did they read out the names, how many people were there, can you describe the room, things, what really happened. You gave me some good details. I mean, you explained when and where, and that's, of course, the good basic stuff you need to start off with, absolutely. But there's definitely room, even my goodness, to talk about the weather on the day, what happened afterwards, was there a big party or a celebration, food and all those things. You talked about the people who came, and parents, relations, girlfriend, those things. So I know you gave some details, and those were good, and I understood those clearly. But the examiner,
yes,
they'll be looking for even more. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think I could talk about if I were nervous or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
I could talk about the examiners or the graduation party. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
Yeah,
maybe I made a mistake.
And in fact, I know for a fact that you can do those things because you have the time. You still have some time, a good amount of time in those 2 minutes to talk about that. I know you were working quite hard with that last point. Thinking about, well, how it affected you, and I understood your point. When you were saying this is the first time when I realized, well, I have some choices here. I can make some changes, and I think that's a really interesting thing, and something that everyone in the world can listen to and think, oh, I remember that when it happened to me as well. So a great example to choose, something most people can understand that kind of situation. So very nice. You were working pretty hard to express that in English, and some of this, that we can work on improving the grammar there, but the meaning was clear, and that's number one. Okay, because if the examiner can understand what you're trying to say, That's much better than the examiner sitting there thinking, I'm not quite sure what that was about. So I understood the meaning of what you were going for. So that was nicely described. And you're right. I think you talk about this being a big, clearly an example of a big choice, a big change. Since you have the time, there's a benefit there in talking about, well, what were you studying? What did you go on to do? As a job or further study afterwards. You have some time here, and that helps paint a clear picture of why this was so big, because you give me the sort of facts, the general points about this being a big deal, and those were clear. But if you're going to say, and yes, and after that I went on to start this job or to do further study, and to describe those things quite briefly, that sort of rounded out, I think. So there's room for more in your answer. I liked what you gave me, but there's room for more as well, and that's why we practice this, to get used to those 2 minutes and think about giving as much as we can. But an interesting answer, Michele. Thank you for doing that with us.
Thank you, teacher.
All right, very good. Let me move on. Let me see. Oh yes, definitely room for at least one more. Alessandro, are you still there with us? Alessandro, are you there? Well, I'm going to go then to Servet. You asked some good questions today. Would you like to practice with us today?
Yes, of course.
All right, then let me find our next question. There. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Let me put this in the box. Good question, I promise. Only good questions today. That's the deal.
No problem. I'm taking this as a chat.
Nothing scary, I promise. Okay, I'm going to put this in the box. Please, everybody, take that 1 minute to practice. Of course, at the end of that 1 minute, I'll ask Servet to give me his answer, and then we can have a good listen to that one. Here it is. I'm putting it in the box now, and I'm going to start the practice now. Servet, I would like for you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes and describe an enjoyable event that you experienced when you were at school. There are 3 other points underneath that question. Please look at those and include those in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, Servet, please give me your answer now.
Okay. Well, when I was at high school, I was in a volunteer community. That community would plant trees for environment, an environmental community, and as a school with my friends, we went to a camp with them. It was a bit outside of the country, and we stayed outside. It was good because personally I like nature. We planted lots of trees to help having more green world. Personally, it's my personal. What I was particularly remembered, actually it was a bit upsetting event because in that event I made a mistake and I caused a damage, but it wasn't intentionally, but people thought I did it intentionally. So our teachers a bit of was angry about it. I felt really bad because my intention was good. I wanted to help, but it kind of backfired to me. What was good? Personally, helping the world, planting trees, and having time with friends around fire. We cooked potato under embers. So I'm happy about this topic, about this experience, even though I faced it a bit upsetting events. It was good.
All right, thank you, Servet. There we go. A good 2-minute answer. So of course, you asked before about and talked about the difficulty of talking about the past, about personal experiences and feelings. Well, you had to do all those things in that answer. So what a question like that, when you see it, are you happy or are you sad to get a question like that?
No, I'm happy because I had an experience about this, and
okay, right.
Yeah, and I also, even though maybe I'm not so comfortable about some topics, but I'm taking this as a chance to overcome it. So even though it's difficult, I'm taking a chance. My viewpoint is a bit different. I'm not trying to make my difficulties anymore. I'm seeing like an experience.
Oh, absolutely, and I think you had a really good practice with that one. Let's look at our points. Okay, so we described the event, what was good about it, what you particularly remembered. Servet, did you answer all of those points in your answer?
Yeah, I think I answered more or less. It was what could I do? So what I could do.
Yeah, I thought there was a lot of good detail. You mentioned outside of the country, and that makes me think. Okay, so this is outside of Turkey. Oh. But then you made it clear. And I think if we just say it was if we had a side, if we say on the countryside, it's like okay, and then any English speaker will understand. Okay, so out of the city, this is in a wooded area. Or in a forest, something like that. So that if we add that side to countryside, it makes it much easier. Let me just mute some noise there. I thought there was some hesitation in the answer. We get better at that with practice. Of course we do. We get better at preparing our answers and better at giving our answers as well. You gave a lot of good details. And I thought you described something that was a difficult situation.
Yeah.
I thought you described that very well, and I liked your use of backfire. You said, well, I meant to do something good, but it backfired, and everyone thought I had done it intentionally. You used some really nice language to explain the background to that. You wanted to give some more details about what was good about it at the end, and you had the time to do that. I didn't have to stop you. You still had a few seconds to spare at the end. You talked about cooking potatoes on embers, and if you want to make the British Council just ecstatic with happiness, you're going to call those jacket potatoes.
Oh, jacket. Oh.
Yeah. If you want to sound American, you just call them a baked potato. Sorry.
I noticed. I think when I was talking about what was good about it, first of all I thought like planting. Then I jumped into difficult the experience that particularly remember. Then I back into it again. That. What was good about it? Is it structured? I think it was a problem.
It's good to talk about, as you say, about the memorable thing. I mean, you have to answer what was good about it, and you talked about wanting to improve things, wanting to make things greener. That was good. I think the cooking and things. Yes, of course, we expect to hear those maybe earlier in the answer, and then your memorable event we can put that at the end, because it's the most important thing we really hear, is the story you tell about the mistake. But lots of good details, Servat, and I thought you explained things very nicely. Really good. That's it. I'm going to have to go. I'm out of time. Thank you to everyone for your answers and for your questions and for your discussions. I really enjoyed listening to those answers today. We're going to do this again soon, so please check my schedule, follow me on Facebook, and I'll let you know when this is going to happen next on Verbling. For now, have a great day. I will see you very soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, teacher. It was a very useful class. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Teacher.
Bye-bye.